Get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving your perspective on teamwork you will not get anywhere else. In here, made it. Orlando edition of the Move Swiftly thought. Different location, nothing changed. Still the same old routine, every single morning. This is how we roll over here. Regardless of the location, we on the same routine to get it done every single morning. And here in Orlando, it is December 28th, 2024. Counting down last couple of days of the year. And I'm here for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Pop-Tarts Bowl with the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Iowa State, I believe it's Cyclones. Yeah, Iowa State Cyclones, right? And seeing that I am going here to see the U, seeing that I do reside out in South Florida. Let's get into the Miami, the University of Miami Hurricanes were recently in the news, but it wasn't their football program, it was actually the basketball program, all right? So the basketball coach, Jim Larrañaga, has officially retired. And you know, the reason he gave, I watched the entire press conference and I watched everything, and this makes the second coaching legend. Now, some of you guys may not know who Jim Larrañaga is, but he is of the Nick Saban stature. He's old school like that. I remember me growing up in Maryland. I remember when he coached the George Mason Patriots to a Final Four. And in fact, just as I was listening to him in his press conference, he was talking about how being a part of the ACC conference was his dream all along. So, you know, being at Miami was kind of his final stop, his final destination when it comes to coaching. The same way when it comes to Nick Saban. He has a lot of Nick Saban features. Obviously not Nick Saban's success, but the news of him just retiring out of the blue because of the lack of structure with the transfer portal, the lack of structure with NIL, all that kind of stuff made the coaches who really love their community. You know, we're talking about coaches who came up in a time where sports used to be about building a community. More in particular, college sports used to be about building a community. It wasn't professional sports where you're paying guys more than what they're actually worth, and that's enticing them to go to certain universities. So let me give you my take on it, because just a year ago, I put a book out titled Transferring D1. Practical guide on navigating the chaotic world of college athletics, and everything I put in that book is starting to become prophetic. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but but I know this business. All right, I know this business, and a lot of the things, if you go back and listen to what Jim Larrañaga said, a lot of the things that he became frustrated about was the fact that just a year and a half ago, he took his team to the Final Four. If you guys can recall, remember the University of Miami was in the Final Four, and eight of his players decided that they were going to enter the transfer portal. And then he was talking about how he had to, be in negotiations with agents, and certain players were starting to expect that they were deserving of $1 million. And if you hear the sincerity in his voice, it's something that he genuinely didn't want to have to do, but he had to do it because of the lack of structure. Here is the solution I not only offered in the book I wrote, but I also have the receipts. I have the receipts. You can go pull up the article right now where I said, in order to put a fix in this issue, because again, basketball, we're talking about men's basketball and college football are the main sources of this problem. The only reason we're even talking about college athletes getting paid is because of those two sports. Those two sports bring in the most revenue, and they are the main sports in which it's actually feasible and there's actually a solid reasoning for athletes to get paid. But what I put out there in the book and what I put out there in an article is that if we require, what needs to happen is it needs to have some structure. If we require every single college athlete to give a percentage that could be negotiated, give a percentage back to the university in which they commit to, this problem would not be a problem. I'm telling you right now, because according to what Jim Larrañaga said in his press conference, and I believe he was very transparent and very honest, he said, look, the people who wanted to transfer were admitted that they loved Coral Gables. They loved the University of Miami. They loved the community. They loved everything about it. But they were leaving because another school promised them more money, or may have said that they were going to get more money. There was some street agent, some third-party influence that was pumping up their head and saying that they can get more money at another school. if you have it tied into the university, it eliminates the need for some third-party agent, and now you are committed to the university and you don't have to jump around from school to school. And not only that, but you also are able to put a cap on what certain players are able to make. Seeing that, again, they're not professionals, they are still college students, and they could take their abilities and they could take their opportunities elsewhere. If they want to get paid to play the game, they should be playing professionally. Now, again, I'm the last person that'll ever say college athletes don't deserve to get paid. I was a college athlete for 2 programs, but it still needs to be controlled to some degree, and there needs to be some level of commitment from the side of the player and the side of the university, or else we're going to see more and more of this, because it's just completely out of control. So, that's my take on the situation. There's a lot more I got to get into, and this is, again, one of the reasons I decided to make this trip to, get in the air some of these these people who sponsor these bowl games, getting in the air some of these sponsors and some of these university board members and the folks that are responsible for doing the marketing and the fundraising and all that, to really see what's going on. Because myself, as a person who's an expert in this field, I'm always willing to learn and always looking for ways to improve the situation. So that's how you got to move if you are really about your business, and that's what it's all about. So I'll keep you guys updated. It's gonna be a great game, great time between this, and then I gotta head over to St. Petersburg tomorrow, see my Michigan Wolverines tap some Alabama ass this New Year's Eve. So main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeymove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.